Hey everybody, this is Chris from rawprofits.com. Thanks for joining us. This is our 5th video in the series of how to build profitable niche websites for beginners. If this is your first time seeing these videos, please check out the playlist and you can watch them in order. They're all 100% free. In the last video, we looked at setting up Amazon Associates accounts and how to promote those products. And in this video, we're going to dig deep into creating content so that we can get the website out there into the world and people can find us and hopefully purchase some products from us. So there are definitely lots of ways that you can create content and different types of content. You can create videos, articles. If you're a graphic designer, you could create cool looking infographics that people like to share. If you like to talk, you could do something with audio. You could start your own podcast. Maybe you can have guests appear that you can talk to and question. But for today, because this is a beginner course, we are just going to stick to the basics, which are blog posts and articles. And we're going to dig deep into 3 different types of blog posts. And if you see up in the right-hand corner here, and there's 3 different types of blog posts that we're going to discuss. The first one are just normal article posts. So that's a normal blog post. And we'll show examples of that. The next are guides or tutorials or how-to articles on how to do something or accomplish something. This provides good value for your surfer. And the third one are top lists or product reviews. So I like to combine these so the product reviews are inside the top list. So for example, you'd have the top 10 best sports cars of 2017. And each sports car you would list, but you'd also have a review for each one. So you probably already know what a normal article or blog post looks like. So there's nothing super special about this. It all comes down to what you're writing about and the content and the value that you're providing for people. I came over to medium.com and I checked out Gary Vaynerchuk. If you're not familiar with him, check him out. And I just clicked on one of his articles, How Successful People Think. And if you go through it, it's just a straight up article with some information and some opinions that he wrote out. There's no special formatting to this. He's just trying to be as interesting as he can, and he's writing short paragraphs here, trying to provide value for his surfers. The second type of blog posts that you can provide for your surfers are guides or tutorials. So in Google, I just typed in something random. My kids went to the beach today, so I searched for how to build the perfect sandcastle. So everybody uses Google to find out how to do something. So if you can rank highly for specific keywords that provide value for somebody on how to accomplish something in your niche, you're going to rank high and become an authority figure for that topic. So in this example, they talk about the basics, the equipment that you'll need to build a sandcastle, the building methods, soft packing, hard stacking, the building blocks, combining structures, carving. And then if you notice through the whole article, this how-to guide, they weren't really trying to sell you anything. They were just providing valuable information for you. And then at the end, they have a simple link here to Sandcastles Made Simple, and that this information was extracted from the book. So if you're interested, you can click on over and purchase the book. So the third type of posts are top lists combined with product reviews. I typed into Google the top bikes for college students. This webpage was one of the results that popped up on the first page. I'm not affiliated with these guys at all, but the format of the page, if you look at the title, Top 10 Best Bikes for College of 2017, this is a great technique by putting the date inside of here. What they can do easily is when 2018 approaches, they can clone this post or copy this post and just create another one with 2018. And then you would change up the text, maybe update the list with newer bikes a little bit, and then you have a whole new post that's ranking for that year. I find myself, I don't know if you do it, but a lot of the searches that I do personally, I add the year beside it so that I know I'm getting fresh data or fresh posts back in the search results. So if we come down, we have a big paragraph of text here, and then they have a table of the listings. These all link to Amazon. I personally don't make these tables, but then if you come down here, you'll see they're listed by number. So number 1, number 2, number 3, and that goes down to number 10. What's important to include is the product name. I like to list them as well from number 1 to however many. So this photo they just got simply off of Amazon. So now that we have an Amazon Associates account, we'll go and grab photos from these products there as well. There's a click here for more details link, which also links to Amazon. And then underneath that is some custom written text, and it gives some information about the bike. So this example is actually pretty simple. Personally, I like to offer a pros and cons section for each product. It comes off more honest to people if you're giving them the benefits and the disadvantages of that product. What I mentioned in an earlier earlier video, this is where the customer reviews come in handy. So this is a backpacking tent. And if I click on the customer reviews, this is where we can get some great value and information for our blog posts. So instead of actually buying each product and reviewing them ourselves by using them ourselves, which would take forever, you can get a really good idea of how this product functions and what people think of it just based off of the comments. So people are saying that it's light and it's worth the money. It's a great sturdy tent. So these are some good pros that we can add. And what you can also do is you could quote people as well. So you could say, for example, Ruth purchased this tent and she said, for the price, it's great. I use this for a trip to the Boundary Waters canoe area. We stay dry and it's very lightweight. Next, you'll want to provide some cons or disadvantages or negatives about this product. So if you come up to the reviews here, you can click on the 2-star or 1 stars. And then just grab a couple of the negatives here. Don't go overboard, because some people, especially the ones that rate products 1 out of 5 stars on Amazon, I find a lot of them are a little over the top or dramatic. Find negatives that sound reasonable. So I've seen now a few times that people are complaining that the tent gets quite wet inside, that it doesn't hold out water that well. I've also noticed that a few people have complained about the zippers and the material that's used, and that it's not the strongest material. This person says the zipper tabs are all on the outside, which definitely sounds annoying to me. This person said it's an extremely cheap product. So if we come back up, we actually see that the price is only $30 for this tent. So what I would do is, in my product review, I would have a little paragraph about the product itself and the specs, the size of it, the color of it, the variations of it. Then I'd list the pros, and then I'd list the cons, and then I'd have a conclusion at the end, maybe an ending paragraph. So I would say something, even though the material is cheap, you kind of get what you pay for. The tent's only $30. And I probably also wouldn't list this specific tent as my number 1 choice, maybe number 10 if it makes the list at all. So now that we know the 3 different types of blog posts that we're going to be creating, or the 3 that I like to start with, how do we get those created? These aren't my recommended methods, but you could pay somebody else to do it. And the fact that you're just starting out and you don't really have any revenue coming in from this project, you're going to be starting off losing money because you don't know if this website specifically is going to bring much income in. I would highly recommend writing these yourself, and we'll show some good ways to do that and some fast ways, some shortcuts to take care of that. Now, if you're looking to throw some money into this and just get results quickly, you can take a look at Fiverr. Let's type in blog writing. So here are the search results for blog writing, and all of these people will write blog posts for you. Some of them are very high. I would probably never pay somebody $125, but he looks like he does well. If you keep scrolling down, you'll see some other people, 500-word blog posts for $12.51. There was a study done, and around 1,600 to 1,700 words was what seemed to do well in Google for ranking. I personally don't know if I believe any of that. I think as long as you're writing valuable content that people want to share or they stay on the page for a long time, I think Google's going to reward you, especially if you're putting out constant, consistent content, say a new post once a week or once every 2 weeks or even daily if it's a popular niche. So Fiverr is an option if you want to hire somebody. Again, not my recommended method. There's also services like iWriter, and I've actually used these guys in the past. So these guys have a fleet of writers that create accounts with them, and then other people that buy from them rank them, and then they're in a tier system of how good of a writer they are. So if you take a look at the pricing here, you can select articles, rewrites, blog posts, press releases. So let's click on blog posts. And as you can see, for the standard price, they're actually not that bad. A 3,000-word article is really quite large. And for $21, I think that's a really good price. Now, again, if you're starting out with, say, 10 articles or 10 blog posts, that's still going to run you anywhere from $140 to $210. Also keep in mind that this is the standard package and that these people in this category might not do the best job in the world. So I would highly recommend this if you have the budget. Again, none of this is what I recommend you do when you're beginning. So I'm back at my niche website, besthikingtents.com, and I just want to head into the dashboard, and I'm going to go to Posts, Add New, and then this is where we write our new articles or our guides or our reviews. If I go back to the homepage, you'll see this toolbar along the top. You can also take a shortcut and go to New, Post, and that'll bring us to the same page. At the top, this is where we can write our title. The title is what will also appear in the URL, and this is probably the single most important piece for what Google is searching you for. So I don't recommend it, but if you like, you can actually write directly inside of WordPress. So you can write your whole article right in here. So my title I named The Best Lorem Ipsum Ever, and if you see, it gives you a permalink, an example of how your link will be structured here. So if you remember in the settings, we changed this so that it'll be the domain name / and then the slug. This is called the slug. If you have some reason to edit this, you can. You can rewrite this if you like and hit OK to save it, and it'll change that. Down here in the body of our post, I have some paragraphs that I posted. And in here we have a visual editor where we can modify how our content looks. We're not going to touch that just yet. On the sidebar we have our categories. So I'm going to select article. We have tags. You can use these or not. These are optional. So I typed in lorem ipsum. I'm going to hit add. And down here you'll see set featured image. So if we click that, we can pick an image from our media library in WordPress. And this featured image is what will be displayed along with our posts. WordPress will create the thumbnails and the cover header photo, if there is one in this theme, for our post automatically based on the photo that we provided. So I'm going to upload a new one and go to upload files. Click select files. I uploaded a random tent file. Remember to rename your title something relevant to the post that you're creating. As well, paste that inside of the alt text or write 2 different ones if you like. The alt text is used when you hover your mouse over a picture, it'll show this text. And that text Google appreciates because it's helping describe what the image is to them. We're going to click set featured image. And as you can see, we have a little thumbnail of the image down here. Let's hit publish. And now this is the current date of when I just published this. If you click edit, it has a complete scheduling system in here. So if you don't want this to appear until tomorrow, a week from now, 2 weeks from now, whenever, you can change that date and schedule posts. So let's click view post. Now as you can see, this is the article that we just wrote. It has the date, it has the title, it has the content that we wrote. Well, I posted. Now this specific theme that I'm using, it didn't put the image up top here. And we'll fix that in a minute. For now, let's go back to the home page. And as you can see, if I scroll down, you can see that image, and it's a preview of what I posted. And people can click on this, and it'll go to that same article. Let's edit our post, and let's use the options here to add an image to the top because I found that post to be quite boring looking. So I made a space at the top here. I'm going to add media. I'm going to select this picture. I'm going to change the size to large, maybe even full size, but for now we'll go with large. I'm going to insert into post. I'm going to update. Now let's go back to the post and see what that looks like. That looks much better to me. And that's how easy WordPress lets you add images and to edit your post. And some people are intimidated by WordPress that aren't familiar with it, but it's really quite simple to use. Now when we created this post, we selected a category in the sidebar. And one of the options that we selected was articles. There was also tent reviews and hiking guides. We selected articles. So if we click up here, any category, any post that we list as an article will now appear in this section. So this is a great way to categorize your content so people can find easily what they want. So we're back in the editor for this post. Now let's say we want to add a link to Amazon to sell this product. So somewhere, usually in the article itself or at the bottom, I'm just going to add a link to the bottom. I'm going to create a sentence that says, click here for more information. And I'm going to go back over to Amazon and I'm going to click on this product. Now I know this isn't the same tent. This is just a test post, but I'm just showing you an example of how to do this. Come back to Amazon, click on text, and we're going to copy this link. Come back to your edit post, select the text that you want to link, and up here, hit the insert link button. And then just simply paste your Amazon link in here. Hit apply, and then update your post. Go to view post, scroll down to the bottom, and right here you'll see a link. Click on it, and as you can see, that links to this tent. Now if somebody went here and purchased this, or purchased any product on Amazon, remember that we now get a percentage of whatever they buy. So I'm back to the edit post. I just want to show you one more quick thing with the links. Come down to the bottom. You're going to select the link, hit the edit button, and if you see here it says link options. And what I want to do is open link in a new tab. Let's update that and update the post and view post. Let's go to the bottom. Now this time if I click on it, watch what happens. It opens in a new tab. What's great about this is that if this person closes this, our website is still here. I'm back to the edit post, and since this was just a test post, I don't really want it. So I'm going to move it to the trash. And if you see here, we have 0 posts and 1 in the trash. If we click here, we can see the post that we just made is now in the trash. We can restore it or delete it permanently. If I come to Media, Library, I can see all of the images or media that I uploaded. I selected this tent, and because this is just a photo that I'm using as an example, I'm going to delete this permanently. So I'm showing you all of these small things just so that you can see how easy it is to use WordPress. So as I mentioned, my preferred way when you're starting out is to write your blog posts by yourself. Even though WordPress does have a version control and revision system inside of it, it can lose your work sometimes. So I prefer to write locally, and this is just TextEdit that I'm using right now on a Mac. And if you're using Windows, you can use Word or Notepad. LibreWriter is a good free one. OpenOffice has a free writer inside of it. But what I want to show you for Mac is a great shortcut for getting your blog posts written quickly. So let's get your cursor inside of TextEdit, and you can do this in pretty much any application on a Mac. But come up here and go to your dictation. So you hit Edit, Start Dictation. What's fantastic is that whatever I speak into the microphone, my Mac is going to convert that into text for me, period. New paragraph. And as you can see, it accepts dictation commands. And on the right side, you can see some of the options that I can say. Period. New paragraph. This actually works surprisingly really well, and I'm not typing a single word right now. Comma. You may have to make some corrections after you're finished. Period. This will speed up your process of generating written content really quickly without you really having to write much. Now, I'll have to go back and make some grammar and spelling corrections, but overall, this will definitely speed up your world. There's also a few online options. Speech Notes was one that I found in Google. I've never actually used them before, and I believe it's recording me at this time. There it is. Period. And as you can see, it seems pretty accurate. I assume that this requires internet connection. Like I said, if you don't have dictation on your computer, then this seems like a very good option as well. I know there's multiple services like this to choose from, so find the one that works best for you. So now it's time to brainstorm some ideas for the actual articles. And if you look here on the right side, I just have a simple list here. And I would just recommend starting with 3 of each type. Now, if you find it easier to write a specific one, then go ahead and create more of those. But I would recommend at least 9 to 10 articles and posts on your niche website just to start the website. I would recommend doing another batch and scheduling them ahead. So every week, if you remember, in WordPress, we can schedule our posts for whenever we like. Or if you're going to keep on top of it, then go ahead and just create a new one every weekend or whenever you have time to do it. The goal here is to become an authority for this market, and we're not going to do that if we don't help answer and provide valuable information to these people. And Google's going to recognize that, and they're going to reward us. So to start, if you have 3 normal articles, 3 tutorials or guides, and 3 top lists with product reviews, you're doing an excellent job just to get off the ground. As you remember in an earlier video, we're going to use this technique of finding popular forums in our market, and then we're going to search for what our niche is. So mine is related to hiking. So Travel Groove is a hiking and trails forums website, and I'm searching for tents on Trail Groove. So quite a few I see trying to decide on a tent, help picking a tent, what type of tent do you use? So under guides, tutorials, and how-to, I feel like this will fit good in this section. So I wrote how to choose the right tent for hiking beginners. And I'm actually going to click on some of these forum topics, and I'm going to read through them quickly and maybe take some notes on how I will write this article. So right off the top, I can see in the description that we're going to want to tell these people that they want a tent that's lightweight, that the material is great, and hopefully the zippers are on the inside and the outside. So after a bit of time, I finally came up with the topics that I'm going to start with. Now, these may not be the best topics in the world, but this is the start, and this is how I'm going to get our niche website off the ground. So for my normal article ideas, how does hiking change your life? Skills every backpacker needs, and building stronger families with hiking. For my guides and tutorials, the 3 that I picked are how to choose the right tent for hiking beginners, how to stay warm camping in a tent, and best hacks to keep your tent dry. And then my top list and product reviews. The first one, 15 best one-man tents for backpacking in 2017. Now, the reason I did one-man tents and not just tents in general is because of the competition. The list for just best tents was insane. There was no way I was probably going to compete with that anytime soon. But I noticed for best one-man tents, there wasn't near as much competition. So that's why I decided on this. Plus, there was still quite a bit of search volume for it every month. Number 2 is 10 best cheap tents for backpackers on a budget. So I know cheap tents was one of the keywords that came up in keywords everywhere here. And top 5 books for hiking beginners of 2017. So as you can see, I have some articles and options here that aren't directed specifically at tents, but they are at hikers and they are at backpackers because those are the type of people that will be buying tents. So I was starting to get a little stuck on the normal ideas. I filled all of these out and then I had one more to find here. So what I did to get ideas is I went to Google News and I simply typed in hiking and I saw this article here, How Hiking the Pacific Crest Trail with My Husband Changed Our Relationship. So that actually got me the idea for building stronger families with hiking. So in this video, I hope I gave you a good idea of where to start. I gave you 3 good options of types of blog posts that you should be creating. There are other types out there. These are the 3 that I would recommend. I showed you how to research these and how to get ideas for them, as well as some shortcuts for the dictation so you can convert your speech to text to save a little bit of time if you want to. I also showed you a few resources on where you can go and pay somebody to help you out with these blog posts. Again, I would highly recommend when you're starting out, just do this yourself. If you're hiring somebody to do this, how can you tell them exactly what you want if you're not really sure how to do it yourself? If you need more examples of these 3 types, just go out in Google and search for yourself. Go find some of the top results and see how they're doing their product reviews, see how they're making their top lists, see how they're doing their guides, and how people are writing their normal articles. Again, this is the 5th video in our series. Please check out the other videos if you haven't yet. Go ahead and get those articles written and get them posted inside of your website. And in the next video, we're going to start talking about how to get actual traffic to your website, how to get people to see your stuff. Again, I'm Chris from rawprofits.com. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See you in the next video.